Best intro ever.
So Brody, you're the only one dancing this time.
I was moving the feet like MC Hammer below the chair. You didn't see me like, hey,
That's
can't
what we
touch
call
this.
chair dancing. Yeah.
You can't touch this. So first of all, you guys want to know why Andrea is my bestie, and
Why?
Is there one reason, or we're
Did you
gonna
pay her?
talk about this for a while?
Several reasons.
Okay.
I don't know why she did it, but she put something on there that said the Red Wizard of Tay. And I am a Dungeons and Dragons Forgotten Realms person. And I'm going to tell you who my favorite Red Wizard is. Shaz Tam. So you normal people wouldn't get this, but Shaz Tam is one of the more powerful Red Wizards, and he's a lich.
Cool.
So why'd you do that, Andrea? Why?
Because the Dungeons and Dragons movie's out.
So you wouldn't have seen it without me?
It does make a difference.
What, seeing it without me? Wow,
No,
I don't know how to
we
take
live
that.
in different cities. I mean, it
I'll
makes it
just-
a little difficult.
I'll just get on my private jet and fly down.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Nice.
Come
We're gonna
on.
go see it on Friday. Actually, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
The Adams Theater.
I adopted some nephews, so I didn't seem like a creeper going in there by myself. So when I was kids, so I go there. I am a Dungeons and Dragons. I have a whole library in my office. There are all the D&D books. I think I spent $1,000, a little bit more, about 1,500, and I wanted all the books from the 70s and 80s. And I got some of them that were used that people still had their player sheets in them and their character sheets, and they had hit points, and they had wrote notes in the book. So I'm reading someone else stuff from the 70s and 80s. It just like, oh my God, I wonder where they were when they were playing this. So I got all the books, I got all the new stuff, 5th edition stuff. I watched Critical Role. One last thing, we'll hand it off. I don't really have anything technical this week, except for I just been doing pricing. That's all I've done this week, just pricing and architecture from 2 things. I need to write a blog. Architecture based on pricing, or pricing based on architecture for Azure Sentinel, because they're not mutually inclusive, man. I'm like, this is not progressive where you name your own car insurance price. We don't do it that way.
Yeah.
Right? And the customer sort of took offense to the way I said it. And I was like, okay. And so salesperson asked me to sort of clean it up. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I meant to say, if you have to ask how much it is, you can't afford it.
Yeah.
Wow, you must be a treat to get on calls with.
Well, just this thing, man. It's just like, oh, you're killing me.
Yeah.
But other than that, the weather's beautiful. I'm running again, Rod. You'd be proud of me, man. I thought about having 2 days today, but I got pulled up in calls. Everything's good, man. I mean, nothing technical, just that. I was going to tell you something else. I can't remember. It's all right. I had a senior moment. Andrea,
Standard.
how are you? You looking chipper and just bright today. What's going on?
Oh, well, thank you. Nothing exciting here. Let's see. What have I done? I did a Defender for Office demo today, which I have not done in forever.
Oh, wow.
I've heard of it.
You made a deal with the devil and you had to do it.
I think we have 2 people moving to Defender for Endpoint, so that's exciting. But other than that, this week is a great week for movies. Dungeons and Dragons is out. I don't know if anybody has going to see Air. It's the new movie with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon about Michael Jordan, the creation of
That's got good reviews. That's got good reviews already. Yeah.
So, lots of good movies out. I'm a movie girl, so.
She is. And did you see the text I sent you over the weekend? Me and the missus are growing up. So Andrea loves champagne. So she's been trying to get me more cultured. Than when we make trips, she take me to places. We'll order $50, $60 glasses of champagne. Exaggeration, but may not be exaggeration. And then I get it and just knock it back. And I just embarrass her too. I do it to embarrass her. She's like, oh my word, what is wrong with him? Like, I'm thirsty. Thirsty. And Pop Tart, Rod Trent.
Is it my turn?
Go for it.
My turn if you don't want to go, if you're not ready.
Really? What do I have? Do I have anything to say? I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, I do. But you go, Brody. You go.
Oh,
first.
thank you, Rod. That's kind of you.
I'm trying to be more Canadian. You go ahead.
That's sweet of you. That's sweet of you. It's been a great week because I am no longer drowning in work. I am now treading water where I should be. So I've had a lot of
Are you
time to
making
get.
fun of me? You keep talking about drowning in water and
Ooh, no,
my
I
basement
wasn't.
issues.
No offense intended. I used to
Right.
come from a place where my basement flooded, so I truly mean that. But no pun intended, Rod. Sorry about your basement. Yeah, and I hope the tornado doesn't hit your house tonight. Outside of that, life's really good. My friend Edwards helped me out with some questions on logging, on piping in some activities into Log Analytics Workspace. Super exciting. I'm also hooking up Google Workspace to Defender for Cloud Apps because my customer wants that. So I got to do it, right? Signed up,
Yeah.
14-day trial, $18 a month, get it done.
What you got to
Go ahead.
watch on that is
Yep.
that when you set the services up for monitoring, when you type in Google, you saw that many services, right? And they're independent and they may not capture everything. So Workspace is not incumbent of all the other Google services. That's what I was trying to tell you. You'll
Right.
miss something.
Right. And I need that list actually. Yes, because customer has a SaaS application hosted on GCP. And we had to clarify what they wanted to cover as part of this pilot, POC, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, oh, actually, just the core Google workspaces. So we want to see when people are uploading, downloading to Drive, right? Or from Sheets and that kind of thing. I'm like, okay. So that's Google Workspace. Cool. We're on guardrails. No GCP, hopefully. But anyway, I'm learning. Haven't set that up yet, so I'm looking forward to digging into that. And
not super hard. Make sure that the account you set it with at least has shared administrator, because if you don't, it'll work the first time. But if something changes your permission, it may not notify you in MDA that it hasn't received the update in days, because it checks the permissions of the person that set it up like a service account against the API that you're going to call. Ran into that last year. So we went days, weeks before someone goes, what is up? And
well, I'm glad you told me that, because I'm like literally cramming to get it done before the presentation tomorrow. So now that you told me that, I'll have to keep an eye out for it. I'm following the documentation, which is slightly out of date on docs. Just the screenshots are a little bit different. Where you go. The fact that MDCA is now embedded within, or MDA, whatever, is now embedded within the M365 Defender portal means there's little nuances that are different from the Cloud App Security portal. Edward, I'm sure you've come across this, like where things are, they're in the settings. Anyway, blah, 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 figuring it out. So I'll let you know if I run into any trouble. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your advice.
I'll be around all day tomorrow. Like I said, I did as recently as last year. And then I can point you to a bunch of pitfalls. And you said that list, all you have to do is go into MDA, go into applications or cloud dashboard, type in Google, and then you'll see that everything from Google Drive to G Suite to Google Sheets, they're independent API services. You would think if you just grabbed it, you get all of it. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, fun. Okay. Can't wait.
It's not hard though. All you do is just check the box.
I want it. I want all the things. Got it. Okay. I like checking boxes. That makes my job easy when there's boxes.
Rod, are you ready now? Because we're pushing. So.
Oh yeah, we are.
Oh, excuse me. I'll stop talking. Other than that, go Jets, go. Yes, Rod. You may proceed.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Yes. So I feel this is Microsoft Security Insight Show. I feel I don't know if I actually belong this week, to tell you the truth. All I've been doing is working on AI, artificial intelligence, for the past 2 weeks, and I feel I don't know. People are starting to ignore me. They're kind of, they see me and they walk the other way. I don't know. I'm gonna have to find new friends, I guess. Who knows? No, but it's all good stuff, because I'm trying to figure it out so that we can understand how to monitor and secure all of these little AI API things. Because you ask anyone and they just kind of either don't respond or they shrug their shoulders. So we need to get on top of this stuff. You saw earlier. You saw earlier. I created a little chatbot that actually converts all of our competitor query languages into KQL for Sentinel.
Will they do it for QRadar?
It will, absolutely.
I need to pick your brain tomorrow.
All right.
So let me ask a question.
Yeah.
So is this thing that we're doing with GPT and OpenAI, and just let's not put the vendor moniker. Let's just say AI assisted technology. If it's artificial, what does that make us? Organic or natural intelligence?
Imperfect.
There you go.
Obsolete.
You make us what?
Obsolete.
Obsolete. Augmented.
Our deficiencies in the way that we approach logic is why we'll always, as a species, be superior to any AI. Because we can look for the wrong answer on purpose and delude ourselves.
And we
I
can turn it
cannot
off
do
and
it.
back on again, which is
And
the key
it's a
thing.
little bit of misconception. Everybody's afraid. Let's just, let's halt development. What we have right now is generative AI. It's not scary. There's things people still have to manage and tune and work with the data on the back end to make sure that it's accurate. Now, that source of truth can be biased based on the person developing it, but
No, you don't say.
yeah. So that's where the actual problem lies, in my opinion. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I think this is where I go back to the dark side. This is a lot of opportunity to do bad with this, and there should be money in it, right? All right.
Definitely.
But we have this month. Last month was super awesome for us. We garnered a bunch of new watchers and listeners last month because of the Women in Cybersecurity. If everyone remembers our very first episode last month, March 1st, we had Maria Thompson from MISA, the Microsoft Intelligent Security Association. And she was awesome. But that kind of has led to this month. RSA is coming up toward the end of the month, RSA conference. Unfortunately, due to travel restrictions and budgets and things like this, we can't necessarily actually be there. However, working with Maria suggested some really key, wonderful, excellent, and I will agree, partners that will be at RSA this year. So we get to actually talk with these partners throughout the month. Today we have our first. And I'm going to go ahead and bring her on screen. Hopefully she's ready for this and it's not flooding her basement right now, but you're on mute. I just want to tell you that right now.
Classic. Way to go, Juliana.
Or you were. No, now it's on mute. What is going on?
Double mute. I hate the double mute.
Double muted.
It's double mute?
We haven't had a double mute in a while. That's pretty cool.
Let's see here. Let me.
It was working. We were talking to her.
We were.
Do you know sign language, Juliana? Do you want to just do
that? She's happy to be here. She wishes for more Pop-Tarts.
All right. Don't we all?
All right.
Don't we all?
I tell you what, Juliana, if you just want to kind of log off and come straight back, then we'll fix it for you. I'm sure we have things to talk about until Juliana gets back.
We can tell jokes in the meantime.
Yes, jokes, etc.
Who has a joke?
So, no, I don't have
a joke.
Jokes. Go ahead.
Why does Snoop Dogg carry an umbrella? For drizzle.
They won't get it. Martha Stewart would get it.
All right, Juliana's back. Say something.
Oh,
It's still muted. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. Oh my God. Maybe something is using your microphone. Something another.
Yeah, check your settings.
Did your iPod? Did your AirPods suddenly? Mine do that all the time. They steal me.
Like headphones.
Nobody cybersecurity.
Oh,
I heard you.
Microphone. Is it better?
There it is. That's it.
I touched nothing. I was just hanging out in the green room eating snacks, like Brody suggested.
All right.
Technology, right?
Eating snacks or drinking the booze in there. I don't know.
I think I'm technically still on the clock with work, so I don't think I will say yes to that, Edward.
Okay.
It just to be safe. I don't know who's going to watch this from my HR. I don't know. So I'm going to. Good news, I had a backup microphone. I actually have a second backup plan, so I was just clicking all the buttons. But
all right. So if HR is watching, we'll not ask those one questions we were going to.
Nobody watches the show anyway. It's all just for show. Don't worry about it.
Actually, they're all watching right now.
It's all the bots.
So welcome, Juliana. Would you like to introduce yourself after that little delay?
Sure. Yeah, Juliana Zaremba. I'm excited to be here. I'm the Strategic Partnerships Director at Difenda. Been in cyber for a really long time. I'm not comfortable saying how long. It makes me feel old, and I've hidden my grays with my lovely strategically placed hat. But I'm really excited to be here and talk a little bit about MISA and RSA and what we're doing around cyber and how much we love working with our customers and working with Microsoft. In my role, I'm responsible for our Microsoft partnership, as well as our channel partner program. So I get to spend all day talking to really cool partners and enabling them to bring Microsoft cybersecurity to our joint customers. So it's a pretty cool gig. Not as fun as being on this show with you guys pre my mic issues and post mic issues, but I mean, that's fine. I had to do something to make it interesting. Brody told me other people were really exciting in past weeks, and just wanted to keep you guys on your toes.
The double mute sneaks up on you. No one saw that coming. Yeah.
He's done that a couple times, and people have left and not come back. So.
Yeah. Me sometimes.
Where are you calling in from today?
Great question. My flooded basement in just outside of Toronto, Canada. A little Canadian representation because I need to. Yeah, we're dealing with Seattle weather. So I feel like maybe that happened on purpose, right? Like I'm pretending to be part of Microsoft in this. And so I went to Seattle part-time to deal with the rain today.
Smart. Well, sunny and bright in Calgary. Are you a Leafs fan, Juliana?
Is anybody still a Leafs fan?
I don't know. Just want to think they're going to get out of the
I'm sure
first
I'm going to
round
upset
this
a
year.
lot of people with that comment, but it's hard. It's hard.
I know. That's why I asked, because I like stirring the pot. Yeah.
I have noticed that already. I will keep that. You keep me on my toes. I appreciate it, Brody. I would say though, I personally played soccer for a really long time. I'm not in shape enough to do that at a competitive level anymore. But so I typically follow soccer more. So TFC, we've had season tickets since they showed up in Toronto. Nice. I now live in Hamilton. They have a lesser known soccer team, but we have season tickets and go to those games. And then we are a race family. So the office has been taken over by F1 and spend a lot of time watching F1 races. And even my 3-year-old is very into cheering for Max. She cannot say Verstappen, which is fine because it's difficult, but she wants to make sure Max wins every week. So we keep out of the Leafs games so we don't get so disappointed that way.
Good. Way to avoid the question entirely. That's excellent. Yeah. Good job. Excellent.
Speaking of soccer, do you watch Ted Lasso? Do you watch Ted Lasso?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's amazing.
It can be. Yeah.
Okay. Juliana, we're hanging up on you. If you have not seen Ted Lasso, you are not living. It is
Can I get a grace period and I could go binge it this long weekend and then catch up?
Yes,
catch up with it.
Okay. We will allow it.
Thank you.
Honestly,
sure.
Edward hasn't seen it either. So.
Well, hey, no, that's not true. I have seen it.
What about Drive to Survive? Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Seen pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. I when you guys give me recommendations to go see shows, you guys are batting 100 or batting 1,000, so I go check them out. It's all right, and I did a little research on the actor that's leading that. He almost got out of show business because he got into a couple of bad. I'm off topic. See, you guys make me go off rail. Juliana, please put us back on the path right here. So, tell us about Difenda, and here's my thing. I said no purchase.
And tell us you could have said Defender, and that's confusing as well because Difenda does a lot of work on the Defender suite of products just to throw people off.
I did. It's a right thing. I said it. So your name has come across some of the emails I've seen within my group. I know of you, but I'm gonna be very honest. I don't know much about you. You're not one of the partners I've engaged with or put in any of my accounts. So tell me something about Difenda.
Sure. First of all, you should work with us. So we're going to find a customer tomorrow and we're going to work on something together. But importantly to know is Difenda is a North American organization. We were founded in Canada. Canadians represent, but we do have U.S. offices and locations as well. And really what's most important to know is that we are cybersecurity first and Microsoft only. So we do not sell any other products. We only work on the Microsoft Security Suite because we truly believe in it. And we believe that that is what's going to help our customers. The other really big thing that you'll hear us talk about, and I need to get points for making sure like I hit all my talking points, right? So I'm playing bingo right now. No, but in reality, we spend a lot of time talking to our customers about getting return on their investment. We all know that everybody is trying to do more with less right now. Investment just doesn't exist everywhere. And when I started in cyber and the communication to customers were, please diversify your portfolio. Please don't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to make sure that you're using all different technologies. It's the opposite now, which is also why I know that I'm old. And so now we're telling people to consolidate. And Difenda's message is consolidate with Microsoft. You've made an investment. You know that Microsoft knows what they're doing. They're the best in where they play. Security is where you need to be with Microsoft. If you've invested in an E5, why are you not using it? And if you can't figure it out, that's why we're here. That's why I have a job. I need to continue to have a job. I need you to call our team. Edward, I need you to find more customers to come work with me. So we do professional and managed services with respect to primarily the Defender suite, but we do also play within other Microsoft security areas. We've got some really cool partnerships as well to help focus on governance, things like that. But we can make that work for you. And our team has written a pretty amazing white paper as well on maximizing, your Microsoft security investment. So I highly suggest people hit our website and go grab that because it's a really cool tool that helps customers understand where to go.
It seems like
what's your website?
Yeah.
www.difenda.com.
Difenda.
Not Difendia, Difenda.
I get it. It's like Defender, but it's Difenda. You get that, Edward?
Difendia.
Maybe our team right now is spinning up a secondary website, defendia.com, that will redirect to defenda.com, just in case.
Yeah, well, the services that you're talking about really seems to be resonating about making the most of that. But we have a mutual friend and a guest on the show who decided to take the leap of faith, create his own business to do exactly what your company is doing. But they're going to be focused on partners. Big shout out to Matt Solzman. Congratulations, sir. I wish you the best.
Friend of the show.
Love you, Maddie.
And there's a link to your white paper, by the way. I found it. So there you go.
Thank you.
We'll include it in the show notes as well.
So within the services that you talked about, I'm working with other partners, and you're going to probably see them on other shows. We all work with different partners. You said managed services. Are you considering yourself an MSSP? Or is there some type of hybrid offering that you have? And if it is it based on XDR, or do you include Sentinel as part of that management?
Great question. So we are an MSSP, and Defenda's history, even before being all in with Microsoft, when we started in the security space as an organization, has always been focused as an MSSP. We primarily want customers to be looking at the XDR solution. So we are MXDR verified through Microsoft as of, I believe it was January, so early on in the program. And thank you to our Microsoft team and Samay from the technical perspective, who really helped us make sure that we went through that process pretty quickly, because we felt really confident that our offering should be out there with that badge of honor from our friends at MISA and Microsoft. But we can support customers who are doing just Sentinel. What you'll hear our team say is that we will meet you wherever you are on your journey, Mr. Customer. So if you're ready for MXDR, we're there. If you're not, we have a really cool end-to-end offering that's a bit of an assessment. So before managed services, because that sounds really scary to some people, where are you? What are you utilizing today? What are you not utilizing today? I heard you guys when I was in the green room talking about Splunk. Like, if you've got Splunk, let's help you get rid of that and move to Sentinel, and then make sure that I hope no one from Splunk is going to ping me after this.
Well, RSA's coming up, and I'm sure they're going to be there. So
that is true. I'm only at RSA for a short period, so I can probably avoid the people who will be angry with anything I say today. So that's okay. But yeah, it's a great question, Edward. We really do. We've built our own platform called the Difenda Shield. And that's really what our secret sauce is, in that we allow customers to use their own tenant. And they're going to continue with their Microsoft investment, but then we're going to ingest into the Shield. And the Shield is going to provide you a lot of benefits where you've got a single pane of glass to see what we're doing as your MSSP and also what's happening in your environment in a demystified fashion. So it's a really cool platform that the team was working on for many, many years before I joined the organization. And if you are interested in it and you are at RSA, not to fast track to an RSA conversation, but it is MISA month with RSA preview. Our team is going to be at the Microsoft booth. We do have a demo spot, and so we will be showcasing what we do around SIM and XDR specifically, and definitely could spend some time with people who are really interested to understand why we're different and where we can help customers. That would be a great place to connect with our technical team.
Do you go into the dreaded world of licensing conversations? Because it sounds like I'm going to make an assumption. It sounds like your services are assuming that the customer is paying to an E5, an A5, or a G5. Can you work with any subscription level?
Yes. So we do not sell licenses ourselves. I'm going to say dreaded because you said it. I didn't say it. But dreaded is an interesting way to describe it. We want to stay focused on being the best cybersecurity providers for our customers on the Microsoft suite. So we don't spend time with the licensing world. That's part of why my other hat is the channel partner program. So typically our channel partners like SoftChoice or SHI or even Invero, because there's varying sizes of partners we have across North America, they're going to be the ones who are going to sell the license. They have specialized teams who are really doing that for the customer base. And then within that license, we are going to be the ones who help you understand how to utilize the security you have either already paid for or identify where you should be upskilling to a different license level so that you can get more from the Microsoft suite. So our expertise is not in determining what license you should buy. It's figuring out what license you have, what exists today, and then what your environment needs to be secure, which often requires, either continued purchasing of those licenses, like you mentioned. Sometimes we meet customers who have an E3. And so they do need to move up to an E5 to make sure that they can get the best out of what we're talking about, which obviously is okay as well, because then they're going to displace maybe some other technologies that we won't continue to name, and then just make sure that they've got the right licensing to support that.
So, Juliana,
sorry,
one of the
Angie.
questions, since you've asked the last 3 questions, Edward, we thought maybe someone else should have a chance.
He was on a roll.
Juliana, one of the questions we usually like to ask people when they come on the show is, how did you get into IT? How did you study computers in college, or did you fall into it someday? How did you get where you are today?
That's a really good question. All of the above. So I went to the University of Waterloo, which will only make sense to people from Southern Ontario. So I actually studied analytical statistics and economics. I'm a mathy, loved it. But then when I was looking for a job, I did my statistician designation in my last year of university. And every interview I went to, they were like, it's so cool. You're going to sit on a computer and you're going to work with numbers by yourself for like 3 years. And then you might talk to somebody about the analysis that you did. And I was like, that sounds really cool. I'm not sure that I will thrive in this environment where I talk to no humans. You guys may have got this from me already. I like to talk to people. I didn't see that being successful for me. So I pivoted and got a job as a business analyst, actually for a really, really small company in Toronto that at the time was doing SharePoint installations. And I moved from business analysis into project management there because we realized that I just really liked to control things and I liked to solve problems and I loved working with customers and kind of meeting them where they were. And from there, I went and did another degree, had a really amazing mentor who kind of said to me, I think you really like technology. Did you know that? And I was like, I don't know. And I guess, because I kind of touched on it at school. And then I ended up at Herjavec Group, which is now Sideris, which is a competitor. So funny that I'm naming them here, but it was where I started my cyber career. I spent 7 years there and moved up through the organization, went into client advocacy, did a lot of stuff with the technical teams. And really that's where my passion and love of cyber and tech really came to be. And then I've just continued to live in that world in different aspects. From Herjavec Group, I went to CDW Canada. So I expanded my technology portfolio. And then I was like, where is cyber in my life? Because I love it. And that's when I ended up back at Difenda about 15 months ago. Yeah, so definitely not a linear path because that would be too easy.
Cool journey.
So I absolutely, I have to tell you, and our other guests this month, I hope they don't hear this, but I love Difenda. I've worked with you all for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now. Had a fireside chat with Manoj. What was it? I don't know. 2019, probably just pre-COVID or something like that. But I love what you guys do. I love particularly the discussion about the E3 and E5 stuff because this is partner month. This is MISA month, right? I think from our perspective, from Microsoft perspective, during kind of these uncertain, everybody's looking at kind of these uncertain economic times, that's when we really, really get to see how our partnerships work, because our partners are like the bread and butter when it comes to helping our customers take advantage of everything they have of E5. And I think that's super important to understand. I think people listening in, we have these partner programs, and Maria wants to say it's an association, not a program or a service, but we have these partner programs, but these are key, not just for us, but also I think for you all as well. How do you take advantage of something like that in your role with this program that we have at Microsoft?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, I'll shout out the program. Which side is the badge on? This side. Before I take off
cool.
the jacket, because I mentioned to you guys it's a titch warm, so apologies. We'll just do a small wardrobe change because that makes things exciting as well.
A blazer on under the jacket. That's pro.
That's why I was it was a bit warm. It was the effort that counts, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are really fortunate in being part of the MISA program. We have been part of it for a number of years now. Joining the program was seamless. It wasn't difficult. I'm not saying that everybody can join the program. I'm just saying it's not one of those things where you have to jump 17 times and turn around in circles and provide all the information, and it takes you 9 to 12 years to get in the program. If you have the right things to get all your check boxes, then Maria and her team make it very easy to join. They do a really amazing job with doing monthly office hours so that we're always kept up to date. I probably email our contact Megan far too often with a million questions, and they always answer. So honestly, for us, the MISA relationship is huge. Even last year, and it's interesting because Edward said he didn't know a lot about us, but you've seen our name a lot. Last year, we were able to get time with Maria at RSA. And Difenda wasn't as well known at the time because we were primarily still doing a lot of our work in Canada, newer into the program, and there are a lot of partners. I love that Brody gets so excited every time I say Canada.
I think you're our first guest from Canada. No,
that makes me feel really good.
One of our few guests from Canada. Okay. And somehow Australia is above Canada in viewership. So my wife's starting to watch the show more and listen to pump those numbers up. So we need you get on your network and pump those numbers up. We got to be Australia.
I will. Yeah. I mean, I think I've seen a few people that I know comment. So I know there are some other Canadians who are watching, but we can work on that. I can take that as a takeaway.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, Maria spent probably an hour with us last year at RSA, and she could have easily said, you're a small partner in the grand scheme of revenue of all the people who were there, but she didn't. And she took that time to really give us some candid feedback. And I was able to take that and build that into our fiscal plan for your fiscal 23, which surprisingly we're already in the last quarter of. But in that program, we were able to execute a lot of different things. So this year we've done YouTube videos, we've done customer case studies, we've done guest blogs. we're currently in the process of doing some additional customer stories on video where there's a testimonial. We've been able to share a lot of our win stories. And then through all of that, we've connected with more people within Microsoft, which is really one of the biggest struggles as a partner. Microsoft is large. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of geographies. It's sometimes difficult to reach the people that you want to. MISA makes that possible for us without a lot of extra work. So it's really important for us. And then as we looked at becoming part of the MSSP program and getting MXDR certified, there were incremental supports for us through MISA. Our PDM team, Richie, is also amazing. So many people there helping us, but definitely MISA continues to just give us access to these things that we're interested in doing. We were one of the first partners to have an OT offer on Marketplace last year because through our MISA relationships, we were able to get into the incubation group. Just so many things, so many good nuggets that we've gotten. And it allows our technical team to get access to the right people to continue to get trained and certified and learn more about what you guys are doing with changes in the tech. And then it allows like my team and the sales team to be talking to the right people and make sure that we're getting to customers sooner so that we can help them on their security journey.
Yeah, I don't think we look at, to be honest, and knowing Maria, I don't think we look at any partner as a small partner, just a partner that's just about ready to break out if they utilize their resources as part of that association. I hate to get ahead of ourselves for next week, but one great example, I've always kind of thought of Difenda as this, one of the bigger partners that we have. I know Derek and Valerie and Miranda, they're good friends of mine. But
name dropping.
Not to get ahead of ourselves, but we're going to have Antanu on next week. At RSA last year, they had zero presence, and they were a completely different company, Tiberium. Over the course of this last year, they were acquired by OpenAI. Now they're Antanu. So, like I said, there is no small partner in this program. It's just the ability to be able to take advantage of those resources as part of this.
Yeah, Andrea, do you remember Difenda from our time on the partner side? Is it resident? I don't remember them either. And this is not an indictment of that you guys aren't good at anything. That we have a lot of partners, and we get into our little verticals where they say, Ed, you need to work with these partners, right, and do that stuff, right? So no offense. I mean, I don't know. Brody, what are you giggling at?
You're hilarious today. I've never heard of them, Andrew. Have you? No.
No.
Okay, that's why I'm here. Now you'll never hear the end of it because my team and myself will be all over you on LinkedIn and email, and now you're going to regret having me here because now you're going to have to know who Difenda is.
That's good.
Matter of fact, you want to hear something pretty funny. So within my group at Microsoft, they're asking for us to have a little bit more personal involvement with the partners that we tend to put inside of a lot of our engagements. I don't know how this happened, but Difenda got assigned to me, so I have 4. Jeff Chin took Blue Voyant because him and Mona are like real tight, right? So there you go. But you'll see more of me because I need to pull information, what you're working on, what customers in, what blockers you're seeing. So it was sort of fortuitous that we had this call. Also, big shout out to the University of Waterloo. I've been on campus. I used to work for RIM, so oh yeah. Yeah, nice campus.
RIM was like the aspiring job for my program. Like if you were in my program or computer science, you should try to work for RIM. Mm-hmm. So interesting how that turned out. But yeah.
Plus Waterloo is where they distill Crown Royal.
Is it? I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
They get the rye from Manitoba, but they distill it in Waterloo.
Well, look at Brody, got to get all technical. Next question. You want to tell the witness and answer the question. Anyway. So within this, we've said all these things, and we kept using the word customer. Mm-hmm. But let's break it up. I know you want to love enterprise customers, but what about the small guys? What about the SMB who still seem to be asked to the dance, the very last person? And how do you negotiate that when they say, hey, we're a 25-man, company or woman company or 25-person company, where it is going right now, right? But we still have the same security nuances and liabilities, and maybe 25 is too small. Let's say that you're a 500-person company. How do you address for those who may be financially a deterrent for them to be able to consume E5, which makes your life better. But what do you do with that when you have these companies that budget is of concern? Because it always will be.
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been on a lot of conversations this week about the SMC space, right? Because it is a difficult space for you guys where you don't have the same account presence in SMC, but obviously there's a lot of customers. And to your point, they all need security. Everybody needs security, full stop, like end of story. A 25-person shop is more difficult. In that case, we would typically say, like, let's do some consulting with you and determine what direction you need to go, and then give them a roadmap. We would do similar things in SMC. Like, we've got a few customers that started off by using us in a bit of a vCISO scenario where they were like, we're not sure, we don't know how to plan and budget for this, but we recognize this is a problem and we need to get ahead of it. How do we get there? So I previously mentioned our, end-to-end roadmap offer. That really came out of a lot of these types of conversations, Edward, where we were talking to sales reps and they were like, listen, the customer doesn't even know, did they buy it? Can they buy it? If maybe, I'm at an E3, I can't pay for an E5 plus a managed security service provider. How am I going to get there? We can make you a custom roadmap to get to what makes the most sense for you. Similarly, I was on a call with Chantel earlier today, just talking about customers and how to better enable them. And I said, we've had customers recently say, I have people internally, I need to use them, but I know they don't have the expertise. Could I have like hours? Is there a way that I could just get hourly support or training or enablement? And so we can also do that type of solutioning for our customers to meet them where they are today, and then hopefully also get to them early enough so that in their next fiscal planning cycle, they can be thinking about, okay, well, now I need to make money for this, that, or whatever. And definitely if they're using a different SIM, or if they're utilizing other technology, right? Obviously, even with IR being a big conversation, which is something we have a huge focus on as well. Are they using CrowdStrike? Can we get rid of that? There are ways to help them.
Well, just calls everybody out. Gotta get rid of Splunk. Gonna get rid of CrowdStrike. We're usually very politically correct here. And then you're like, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that.
That's fine. I actually appreciate it myself. That's
me too. I love that. You get an automatic.
Rod knew what he was getting into when he heard that it was me who was going to finally represent Difenda. So
yep.
I could tell.
No, but there are ways to help customers stretch their budget, right? And it's really about getting in the conversation early enough to understand what does their business need? Where are they today with security? What is their budget? And then how do we all work together, Microsoft, likely in my case, channel partner, and Difenda, to make that work for that customer? It's not a one size fits all. It just can't be, because every organization and every industry is in a different place.
Great answer. I still love Difenda. What a great name. I've heard a lot of quirky names in my day. Difenda. It's cool. Isn't it cool, Edward?
It's better than something else, I think. So you could say Defend. It depends on what value you want to put at the end of it, right?
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. What do you think, Andrea? Do you like the name?
I think it's lovely. But I was saying, Edward, do you want to ask your traditional "What's your favorite product?" question?
Oh, she'd be good at this.
Well, yeah. since you're telling me to do it, I'll do it. So, I was going to try to break the mold and not be the
I love it.
Predictable person. So, Juliana, out of the Defender security stat, we're talking about MDI, Microsoft Defender for Identity, MDO, Microsoft Defender for Office, MDE, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, and when you're talking about MDA, which is Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps. Out of those products, now this has no, your opinions and comments has nothing to do with reflect on Difenda. Out of those products that I named, which is your favorite product? Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, or
Defenda for Cloud Apps. How about
Defender for Cloud Apps? Out of the four that I really named, what do you guys find the best bang for buck, and what is I'm gonna ask it in a different manner this time. Which gets your foot in the door quicker as far as eye candy?
That's a good twist.
That's a great question.
Don't flatter him so much with all these great questions.
He'll ask it again right away.
Next week at least.
Well, apparently he asks it every time, so we need to
Every
make sure that he knows it's a good question. No, it is. I mean, it's difficult, obviously, especially as you guys like to change the names in portfolios so often.
Never.
I would say I think it's pretty typical to have an endpoint conversation with a customer. It's not very often that a customer is going to argue that they need an endpoint security solution. So being able to talk to them about Defender for Endpoint is an easy sort of conversation. And like, what are you doing at the endpoint? And you're not going to disagree with me that this is something that you need to do. You're already using Microsoft tools on your endpoints. What are you doing from a security perspective? Did you know Defender for Endpoint was something you could look at? And so when we created our managed security service solutions, it's kind of like Lego blocks, whereby if they only want to do Defender for Endpoint, we can manage that. We have, an endpoint solution, both a deployment and then also a management. If then once they're doing that, they realize that there's more here and they want to stack on top of that cloud apps or stack on top of that, finally buying into a SIM and going Sentinel or making sure they have XDR, we can build on it for them if they're not going to do the full solution. And I think endpoint ends up being a pretty easy entry point to that conversation if they're not ready for a full MXDR conversation. And also just based on where Difenda, right? Yeah,
go figure. Yeah,
crazy. But also I think it's partly based on where we were born from, right? Because Difenda was always in security and for a while did offensive security around pen testing before really shifting into this Microsoft ecosystem. It just was an easy conversation for us. It was a place where in the market, our brand was already known. Also with SIMs, but I think when you get more into, even when we have an OT conversation, there's still a lot of customers who aren't sure, like, OT, really? Is that something that you guys are doing and Microsoft is doing? And what does that look like? We don't get the same level of questions, I would say, with MDE.
Cool. There you go, Edward. MDE again. MDA keeps losing this question.
You're never losing. You just opportunity to get better.
Yeah, but I like your twist on the question though. What's the foot in the door? MDE, right? Like, hey, this is really good. Let's get more, right? Let's maybe
and I think the question is valid because based on a number of endpoints, MDE can be intimidating on the deployment methodology. Now you got to pull in the SCCM team. You got to pull in the AD team if you're going to use GPOs. You're going to use Intune. You got to do all these things, right? So with Defender for Cloud Apps, you just turn it on and you get bells and whistles, right? And you look good and everything else. And it's a low pink slip evolution.
Yeah, but if you want low pain in the ass setup, you need MDE in place first to then link to Defender for Cloud Apps, and you get that integration, right, Edward?
I think we need to arm wrestle.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the low pink slip solution should be part of the marketing for MDA. That's a really great tagline.
There you go. Vashu took one from me. Now you can have one. I'm giving them out every week. You can just take
Thank you.
Right? They're free. So
Ed's wisdom of the week.
Wisdom of the week. So
Andrea's favorite product is Defender for Endpoint, by the way. Andrea doesn't get enough opportunity to talk, so I thought I'd just give her an opportunity there.
Well,
right, Andrea? Love MDE.
Because she's an expert. She's the best on the show, right?
She is best on the show. Absolutely.
She's the best, whether she's on this show or not. She's just good at it.
For me though, I love MBE, but if you ask me what I would deploy first to the customer, I will always say MDI, so Defender for Identity, because it doesn't affect the endpoints in any way. It's super easy, right? You just throw it on the domain controllers, and users don't have to change any behavior. So that's my favorite go-to for a quick win.
You know what? Even ChatGPT says Defender for Endpoint.
Does it?
It does.
Of course it
What
would.
question did you ask it?
Yeah.
What is the best Microsoft Defender product?
Wow.
And it said that because that's the least likely to catch it when it's doing evil.
Well, it says if you're going to protect a single device, just stick with Defender antivirus. But it says if you're a business organization, multiple devices and networks to protect, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint.
There you go.
You should put in which Microsoft Defender product will protect us from you and have the greatest probability of detecting your bad behavior.
Yeah, no doubt.
It'll come out with no comment.
Juliana, do you get a lot of OT conversations? Is it stepping up? I'd like to think that well, especially in your neck of the woods, manufacturing, etc., that might be a larger conversation. I'm out in Alberta, critical infrastructure, oil and gas out here. What's that conversation like with Difenda these days?
Good question. We're hearing it more for sure. Customers are now more open to have that conversation, but like you guys know, it's typically a different team that is managing that environment. Like SCADA networks and everything have their own world that you need to live in. So it's hard in some cases. It entirely depends on the customer, but in launching the OT offer with Microsoft, we did a really cool webinar last year. We definitely had like a press release. We are in a lot of conversations about it. We're fortunate enough that we continue to chat with the team from Israel about continuing to determine great ways to go to market and tools that they can provide to make the conversation easier with customers. So connections that we have like that within Microsoft really help us determine the best way to bring, new tools forward to have those conversations with customers. We are planning, and I don't have the date, so don't quote me, but I know we're working on some manufacturing specific events. And we do, if you hit our website again, because we did share that before, and I saw Natasha from Difenda posted that in the chat as well later, so it's there as well. Thank you. If you go on our website, there's a lot more information about manufacturing and definitely how we would like to support the manufacturing sector more. We do have a number of customers who are using Difenda for OT in manufacturing, some really cool use cases. We are working on some customer case studies through MISA right now with videos with some of those companies so that it can be more easily shared and then more people can use that to help have that conversation. It's not a foot in the door one though, for sure. You have to have a really great relationship with the customer to get them to have those conversations.
Yeah,
love it. You're nailing these questions, by the way. I got to say that's really cool. I'm glad you're focusing on an area that's near and dear to your location, and I'm glad we're getting more case studies out there because I think it's an important area that we all need to pay more attention to.
So Julian, I wasn't being rude. I'm looking over here, and I was just verifying that the partner and engagement matrix did have me listed as your rep on the GBB, and it is.
Thank goodness.
What made me look is when Brody asked a question about OT and manufacturing, that is the vertical that my peer Beth Biscoff covers. All right. So I may ask her so we can double team, because some of the partners I see listed, we have 2 individuals. I will ask Beth. She covers that. And now it was asking who's my point of contact. Now I know. I got my point of contact. So the show is a win.
Look, we're solving problems everywhere. This is perfect.
Like speed dating on a podcast. It's great.
You don't even have to go to RSA. You've done everything you need to do.
You did it here. What really sets off the partner importance in the hierarchy is that, which one of us are you going to fly to RSA? Because I'm sure one partner flew Andrew out, one partner's flying Brody out, one partner's flying Rod out. I don't have any, but nobody wants to take me to the prom.
Weird.
I wish somebody would fly me somewhere. I like flying. I'm joking.
Juliana,
who doesn't like flying?
Is Difenda is there anything new y'all are gonna showcase at RSA, or are you just there to shake hands?
Good question. I mean, we're obviously going to be there to shake hands and to spend time with people in person post-COVID. Who doesn't want to spend time with people in person for a change? I'm looking forward to the MISA event because it does allow me to speak to the MISA team, and we're going to celebrate some of the other partners and hopefully including Difenda on some wins for some of the Security Excellence Awards. But I mentioned before, we do have a spot at the Microsoft booth, and I said Lego earlier. Let me bring up Lego again because we have, and I think Rod is going to post it. And if not, Natasha seems to be like really on the money right now, which is not shocking at all. But we have, because we have a demo booth, if you want to book some time with our technical team there to look at our new demo and Difenda Shield, which I mentioned earlier, and learn more about how we can help you with OT or any of the Defender stack. And Edward, you could ask like our technical leader if he agrees with my MDE answer. Maybe he would go MDA and then you guys could be besties and that would be great. But if you go online and you register a spot to meet with us, you have the opportunity to win a really cool Lego. I didn't know this existed, but there's apparently I think it's like an SUV GB type thing called the Defender. And so there is a really cool Lego set that we're giving away to somebody who hangs out with us at RSA. So definitely go on and do that.
I need to look this up right now. Okay.
I'm not good enough at multitasking to be able to send it to you right now, Brody. But if someone on my team doesn't send it to you right now, or you don't hit that website and see it, I will make sure you get it. It's cool.
I popped it in the chat just a little bit ago. We'll pop it up here again so everybody knows. However, I will include it in the show notes. So for those that, absolutely. And that
I want to see what the Lego thing looks like, though.
I think Ed might be able to drive that.
With,
I can't.
With who? With Ren?
Defender.
Lego Rover Defender. Very cool looking.
Yeah, that is super awesome. Natasha has her link there too, but it has all the tracking stuff in it. Natasha, I'll be happy to include the tracking stuff if you send that to me.
Oh, I see. Natasha's got it here. Perfect. Natasha's killing it in chat. Yeah. Natasha, friend of the show. Very excited about Lego. Super sad I can't go there and take advantage and win it.
I think Natasha's working really hard for a guest spot.
Oh, look at that. My wife would love that. Look at that thing. That is cool.
For anybody who is going to be at RSA and at the MISA event, Natasha will be featured in a video about Difenda's position on diversity in security.
Ooh, that's super
We're trying to make things really, tongue twisters right now. But yeah, Natasha just did a really cool video with the MISA team about what diversity means to us at Difenda. She's been with the organization for many, many years and has definitely seen the evolution of women in cybersecurity, and definitely what Difenda is really cool.
Sick. Look at that. The color too.
So Natasha is going to be featured in that video. We're really excited.
So when does that come out?
The video?
Yeah.
So it is going to be launched, I know for sure, at the event. It's part of the event because there is a Security Excellence Award around diversity and security. And we're very excited to be one of the shortlisted companies there and partners. So as part of that, we were able to be part of this video. I do believe that it is going to be shared with a wider audience post-event.
Okay.
So as soon as we, get access to it, we can definitely share it with
that would be awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, because we just came off a hugely successful, it was diversity, but it was Women in Cybersecurity Month. So, that was, it was, just the content that came out of last month was super awesome. So really, it deserves more than just a month. So
yes.
Yep. Anything you can share from that perspective would be super awesome.
We'll amplify the heck out of it, Juliana. Thank you very much to you and the team for championing that. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Happy to do so. We've got some really cool initiatives going on at Difenda around diversity. We've had them on the go. This just gives us the opportunity to talk more about it. Because like you guys said, 1 month around women and certain other days or months around different other areas that need to be highlighted doesn't really do it justice. So we're very happy that it's something that our organization makes a priority of every day in doing education for our employees. We have some guest speakers coming soon to talk to our employees about different perspectives on diversity and what that's been like in their careers and how they've overcome challenges, or also ways to learn more and nuggets. Again, another Ontario shout out, but the old Ryerson, which is now TMU, has a really cool cybersecurity catalyst program with Rogers. And so I am fortunate enough to be involved in that. And I know like Kevin McGee at Microsoft is also involved in that. There's a lot of really cool links to it. It's a really awesome program that is helping drive, additional leadership from women in cyber. And they're doing their first cohort. Their cohort actually, when is their graduation? It's later this month. I actually think it's the same week as RSA, but really cool for them because the first cohort is actually graduating from that program, and then they'll be looking to add some incremental people. So that's something that we, are happy to be part of and supporting and joining in on. I just think in general, anything that we can collectively do around diversity helps continue the conversation and make it so that we can see more diverse individuals as part of this really cool industry that we're in called cyber.
Well, we're a stronger industry and a stronger organization by having those different perspectives. So.
Agreed.
Yes. That's why we'll beat AI, because they won't work together, but we will.
I don't know. I don't
It's
know.
fair. You never know.
Well, unless the AI teams up with the aliens and they're even more hungry.
They're hungry.
Yeah,
They're hungry.
So, well, Juliana, thanks for two things. Thanks for coming on and sharing information about Difenda that I should have known as I've gone through some of my old emails and stuff like, oh yeah, I see a presentation that you guys just for the GBB team. So that's on me. And the second is coming on and I can pronounce your name so Rody can't make fun of me like he always does. Right? It's like
Defendia.
Defendia.
Defendia. Yeah.
I'm happy to help. I really did. This has been a great conversation. I appreciate how you guys have invited us and allowed us to come talk a little bit about Difenda and Microsoft and security and MISA and RSA. And we touched a lot of topics in a really short period of time. But it's just been a lot of fun to chat with you guys. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on.
And I definitely will reach out to you because
Yes.
you are mapped to me. I'm mapped to you. We need to figure out how to make this work and get you involved in some of my customers that are asking. And I love to see you in action. I've heard that you're doing stuff in some of the different verticals. I didn't know that you were that deep in manufacturing OT though, but I know now. So thank you again. Great kickoff to the month, right? To the next guest. Bar is set. Let's get at it. Right?
Hey, one thing before we head out. I had mentioned last week that I was going to send a free Must Learn KQL mug to anyone who could name the 3 Air Force pilots that have been on the show.
Oh, time out.
Yeah.
They were not all Air Force.
Oh.
3
you're right.
Pilots. Yeah.
Pilots. Okay.
You're going to offend somebody. Elizabeth.
That's fair. Go ahead, Rod.
That's right. She's not. Oh my goodness. But anyway, we had 3 pilots on the show in the past year and a half. No one took me up on that. I'm still waiting for that. So just as a hint, we had one person on last week. We talked about one person last week. So you have to go back to last week's show to get 2 people. The last person, you need to go back to our holiday episode of last year. Someone actually showed up on the show in Christmas pajamas. So figure it out. I'll send you a Must Learn KQL mug.
And maybe I'll throw something extra in too through the winter. I got a lot of swag over here, so we'll send that out too.
Yeah,
So.
you got swag, not just old networking gear.
How about passwords to your network? That would be cool.
I gave that to Andrew, and I'm paying the price to this day.
Yeah, Andrea's script.
Doomed.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about delete my whole Azure subscription 365. It's just stuff in here. No,
I really want that Lego car. I never win anything. I'm gonna have to buy it for myself, I guess.
It looks sick. Yeah, it looks great. Thank you, Juliana. We really appreciate your time today. Thanks for all you do, and good luck in the postseason.
Thank you guys so much. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't always wear caps, but it was good for my hair, so I'll make sure that I just,
It's a good look. It's a good
nailed
look.
it.
You wear it well.
Thank you guys again so much. Really appreciate it. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. See you next week.